In this set of videos, we're going to introduce you to doing data analysis using Python. Now, if you've only got very small amounts of data, then a spreadsheet like Excel is perfectly fine for doing it. But if you get serious with your science, very soon you're going to get to the stage where what you're trying to do is just too complicated, or there's too much data for spreadsheets to be very sensible. If you're dealing with tens of millions of data points, Excel won't help you. If you want to do some complicated fitting of models to data, Excel won't help you. In fact, if you want to get really high quality plots for publication, Excel won't help you. So we're going to show you how to do this with Python, which is probably the language of choice for most data science and data analysis today. It's also a widely used commercial language, which means if you get stuck with something, you can probably just Google, how do I do this in Python? And the answer will be there, which is not the case for something more obscure. In particular, we're going to show you Python notebooks, so-called Jupyter notebooks. Now what's this? Let me show you one. Now traditionally when you're doing research or calculation or something, you might write something down in your notebook and then do a calculation on your calculator and then copy the result into your notebook. You might generate a graph using Excel and then copy that into your notebook. And that's not really ideal, because if you stuff up your calculation somewhere, there's no way that someone reading it can find out how you did that. So it occurred to some people a few years ago that it would make sense to have one sort of computer-based notebook which allowed you to combine text, to combine equations, to combine graphs, to combine drawings, and the calculations and code and data analysis all in the one notebook. The first of these was Mathematica notebook, and these are the Jupyter notebooks I'm going to show you now. The basic idea being to use Python, a widely used language which allows you to plot data, do calculations and whatever, but to combine it in a notebook so that you can mix it with text. So here's an example of a Jupyter notebook. This is one that came from the Gravity Wave Open Science Center. So what you'll see is it's made up of a whole bunch of cells. Each cell can either be text, like this one, which is just saying something for you to read, and computer code. And so it tells you what to do and has some computer code, and you can have calculations in there and you can mix them with text. And here we're seeing some gravity wave data, the spectrum of the gravity wave data, and this is actually a result of a merger between two compact objects far out in space, probably two black holes colliding. And you can see what we're doing here is we're mixing data, calculations and text. And that's what a notebook is, and they're very useful, and now they've kind of de facto the standard for data analysis. So in these set of videos we're going to explain how you produce one of these things and how you can use it to analyze data. We're going to give you two options for how you run these things. One is to run them in a web browser using Google's Colab, which is where this one is running. So it's just in my normal web browser. You do not need to install any software, but you will need a Google account. If you prefer, you can actually install Jupyter notebooks as part of Anaconda Python on your laptop. You will need a laptop. This doesn't really work on iPads and things like that. And then you've got it installed. Up to you. We'll explain both.